So somebody wanted to know how to make the hot chocolate bombs. I'm gonna do a quick video. The chocolate I'm using is this almond bark chocolate. I got this from Dollar Tree, but they also sell it at Walmart for maybe about $3. So according to the instructions, you just put the chocolate in a bowl, a microwave safe bowl, microwave it for 90 seconds at 100%, stir, and it should have like a pourable consistency. It should be, soft so you could pour it. Mine looks like it's got a few lumps in it, and it's very, very hot. I should have maybe not done 100% this time, but it's always hard to tell, but I'm trying to get these lumps out. So you'll also need, in addition to your chocolate, you'll need a mold. This is a silicone mold, 6-cavity silicone mold. You'll need your hot chocolate mix. Today I am using this from the Dollar Tree. There are, I think 6 packets in here. I poured like 3 of them in this bag just to make it convenient for me to get it out. But I do want to see how much is in 1 pack. So I'm going to try one of the balls with a 1 pack also. So basically, you can also use some coconut oil because sometimes the chocolate doesn't shine as much as I like for it to. And it keeps it from getting like super thick. This is a little thicker than I like mine. I like it to kind of just pour out. And right now it's kind of plopping out. The plopping will do, but I like it a little thinner than that. Hold on, let me see if I can grab some coconut oil. Yeah, I got a little coconut oil in here. Give me a sec. All right. And so there's no exact measurement to how I do the coconut oil, like a ratio coconut oil to chocolate. I just kind of dump some in there. But not a lot. As you can see, maybe for about, I think it was maybe about 4 to 5 of those squares of almond bark. They have like little indentations making them into squares. So for about 4 or 5 of those, I used about maybe 2 teaspoons of coconut oil. I still see maybe a little lump, but it may be a bubble. So you don't want to stir it too vigorously. I am, unfortunately. But you don't want to stir it too much because you don't want to get bubbles in it. But the coconut oil definitely helps make it more pourable. I don't know if you guys can see. Yeah, it makes it more pourable. So you need some parchment paper to cover your work area. These little squares are just for me to sit my spoon on to get it out of the way. But basically the process is you take your cleaned and completely dry mold and you just pour the melted chocolate in there. Don't use too much because you will have to dump some of this out. I'm actually using more than I normally would because I'm rushing for the video, but I may as well do all of these. All right. Okay, so I just kind of dumped some chocolate in there, and I'm gonna kind of shake them around to kind of distribute the chocolate. This part can turn into a mess if you're not careful. I'm not exactly being careful like I should. When I first started doing these, I had a hard plastic mold. I didn't have this mold. This is actually my first year using this mold. So once you shake it around and kind of get the chocolate pretty well distributed, then you're going to need your spoon to bring it up on the sides, because as you can see, mine are not all the way up like they should be. There's space around there. So I'm just going to take my spoon and kind of bang off some of that extra chocolate. and take the spoon and go up the sides to make sure your sides are covered. The sides are very important. If the sides are too thin, it will crack and you won't be able to make the circle the way you need it. So up on the sides, up on the sides, up on the sides. Don't worry about the bottom because you're kind of moving some from the bottom, so it's going to look like you've scraped it all off the bottom. That's okay. It will go kind of back down and fill itself in. So you just kind of go up on the sides to make sure that all your sides are getting covered all the way to the rim. Don't worry if you make a mistake and get it past the rim. We're going to melt that off anyway, so that's no issue. All right, we're down to our last one. All right, now let's shake it down in the bottom some more. Make sure our bottoms are covered. Make sure they're completely covered. I think some of these I have a little too much chocolate in them, but now what you can do at this point, I'll show you. This is what a lot of people do at this point. They take the molds and let's see, can you see? Sorry. Hold on, I knocked the whole thing loose. Okay. You can take the molds, you can leave the molds as they are, or at this point you can take the molds and flip them to shake out some of that excess chocolate and also kind of get the sides. I see a couple of spots that I missed on some of these sides, so I'm gonna go back and make sure my sides are all good. That is one of the most important things, is these sides. And once you get them all done, like I said, we're going to turn this over and shake some of this excess chocolate out. That works a whole lot better when you use the stiff molds, I learned, but it'll also work with these. So you take it like this and you literally, hold on, got to shake my chocolate around, make sure I get my bottoms covered. All right, so you just flip it over. I know my arm is kind of in the way, so you flip it over on your parchment paper and kind of shake out that excess. And then we're gonna flip it right back over. All right, so at this point, let's see, let me grab another knife so I get all that chocolate somewhere on the top. So we're just gonna take a knife and kind of clean them up a little bit. It's not a big deal if it's a little messy, but we just kind of want to not have too much to do later, and I'm making it worse, not better. But yeah, just the big blobs like this, we want to get that off of there. Yeah, we just don't want these big blobs around there. It just makes it more difficult to clean it up. But as messy as this looks, this is actually fine. And what we're going to do now is we're going to refrigerate this for a few minutes. I put it on this metal tray because it makes it easier to move it in and out of the refrigerator without messing it up. So I'm going to put this in the fridge for a second. Just a minute. The freezer would actually probably be better, but since we're already doing this, we'll just put them in the fridge. I usually do the refrigerator anyway. So that's our first step. We're gonna leave this to the side because it will kind of get hard on its own, and we'll just dump that back in our bowl to use the next time. And that is part one. We're gonna wait for them to chill in the fridge and set a little bit, and then we'll take them back out and basically do the same coating again before we fill them. Alrighty, so we put these in the fridge to chill for a minute, and you know they're done because they kind of look a little crusty on the inside. Not crusty, but they look a little matte instead of shiny on the inside. So I got my chocolate again, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna put a little chocolate in the middle of each one. Well, I'm just gonna do them one at a time. Put a little chocolate in, because we don't want to use too much, and just go up around the sides again, making sure to reinforce the sides because as I said, that's going to be your break zone. That's where they'll break really easy if you don't have this extra chocolate. And these are going to set up pretty fast because they are still cold. So we're just going to smash some of this around. Smear it around, I should say. It's not going to look pretty on the inside just because it's warm chocolate being placed on top of cold chocolate, and so it's going to make it start setting up fast. But we just make sure we come up on the sides and get all of these good. Just make sure the sides are coated good. That's our most important area of concern. You gotta kind of try to move fast with this, but carefully so you don't damage the shell that you've already created. And you're moving fast because, like I said, they're cold. They just came out of the refrigerator, and I'm going right to it. I'm not letting them sit and get back to room temperature or anything. And once these are all done this way, they're going to go back into the refrigerator to set for a few more minutes, and then we'll be ready to fill them. So I'm not actually pouring any more chocolate in them when I go back for, when I don't have enough that first time. I'm just using the chocolate that gathers on the back of the spoon. And you can see some of them are not, some areas are not as thick as you want them to be. If you do this twice and they still don't look as thick as you think they need to be, it's okay to do it a third time. I generally don't, but if I needed to, I would. So about half a spoon, dump it in, and go straight to going up on these sides. It's okay if you get a little bit outside of the mold, as long as it's not like a lot, like a big blob like I had before. I'm sorry if you guys can hear the television from the other room. It's kind of loud. The football game is on, so. All right, just wanted to make that one extra thick around that edge. Now to hit this last one. A little bit more on this side because they don't look as thick as I want them to. Now at this point, because they were cold, some of them are kind of setting up pretty well. If you see areas that are too thin or anywhere that you missed, it's okay to go back now and reinforce those areas. Like over here, this looks a little thin to me, so I'm gonna just hit this side again because it was set up pretty well already. Alrighty, I think we should be just about good. I'm gonna just go back over these, make sure they're all good. Generally, you don't have to do what I'm doing now, which is like going back for like a third time, but I'm just doing it just to make sure that my edges are good. Because this is where we will connect them, and this is what basically holds it all inside. So I have some areas that look a little extra thin to me, and that's what I definitely don't want. And I don't think they are thin. I think I'm just paranoid about it. And because I'm doing the video, I don't want to lose any of them. I don't want any of them to crack. I want them I want the process to be smooth so you guys can see what happens when it works right. I do crack a bunch of these shells when I'm making them. And when that happens, I just throw that chocolate back into the bowl and melt it and use it again. So these are going in the fridge now. Oh, let me show you. As I said, they look kind of ugly on the inside. They're not all smooth and nice like they were, but that's fine because nobody's actually going to see that. By the time we put the hot cocoa mix and marshmallows and stuff inside, and once they get to the person, they'll be the formed balls, and they'll already be full. So let me grab one I've already made. So these are some I've already made. Let me grab the white ones. Those are the brown ones, milk chocolate. And these are, of course, white chocolate. This one and this one are Oreo. This one and this one are peppermint. And the other two are just white chocolate. And so after we get those last ones to set up and I show you how to put them together, then I'll show you, I'll do a video decorating them and a video boxing them up for presentation and making them look nice. So we'll be back. All right, so now that we have coated them basically twice and they've had a chance to harden in the refrigerator, we are going to pop all these out and get ready to clean up the edges and then fill them. So to pop them out, we are just going to pull a little bit on the rim of it. Try to go all the way around as best you can without grabbing it and pulling on it. And then we will push up from the bottom and pop them out. And so we've got one. So we have a total of 6, so let's pop them all out. In the meantime, I have been heating a plate, a regular glass or ceramic plate in the microwave. And we are going to use that to clean up the edges. You could do this with a knife if you have a steady hand, but I'm not going to risk it. It's way easier for me to use the warm plate. So I'll show you how that goes in just a minute as soon as I pop all these out. And one last one. All right, now that we've popped all those out, let's move this out of the way. Let's grab the warm plate out the microwave. And it doesn't have to be super hot, just pretty warm. Set your plate down. Take one of them, and you see it's got like, I don't know if you guys can see, but here, this one is better. Okay, it's rough around the edges. Like here you can see the excess chocolate, so we're gonna get that off. And this is basically how we do it. You just take it, hold it gently so it doesn't break, and you just kind of twirl it around on the plate a little bit until you see that it's a clean edge. Sorry. And you just take it off. And so now those rough edges are gone. And I'm going to do that with 3 of these because 3 of them will be tops and 3 of them will be bottoms. I'm sorry, I'm fumbling this right now for some reason. And the reason we're only going to do the 3 for the bottoms, I'll show you in a minute, because that's how we're going to get the top and the bottom to stick together. So now that we've done that, let me grab a paper towel and get this excess chocolate off these gloves. All right. So wipe my hands off a little bit. And let's grab our hot chocolate mix. So first we're going to try this one and see the whole pack and see how much of these it fills up. how much of one of these it fills up. If it's too much or just right, we're gonna find out now. So I'm just ripping it open, hold the pouch open, and use that to pour out. All right, that's actually pretty good. I really didn't need to dump that other pack out, the other 3 packs out. But I would normally put a little bit more than this, just so that it fills all the way up. All right, it's Halloween, so if you heard my doorbell, I am servicing the trick-or-treaters. So I got a little messy with this one. You don't really want the hot chocolate mix to be on that edge because you want them to adhere really good. So let me move this out of the way. All right. So yeah, I generally fill them a little bit more, especially because I'm not adding marshmallows. This hot chocolate mix already has marshmallows in it, so I'm not gonna add extra. I normally do, but I also normally don't use that Swiss Miss hot chocolate in those pouches. I normally buy a big tub of hot chocolate mix from like Walmart or somewhere. So let's keep adding some until we get these pretty full. As I said, I don't want to overflow them though. I don't want any spilling out of the sides, but I do want them pretty full. And they're good and thick too. That extra coat that we did around the edge was definitely helpful. Just using the spoon to kind of pat it down to see how much I have in each one. This is actually enough, but I'm gonna do too much as usual and try to get them as full as I can, especially because I've already dumped this out. So let's hurry and get these full and sealed before any more trick-or-treaters come, so I can finish this video for you guys. A little bit more, a little bit more. All right, it's pretty good. Now let me show you guys how we close them up. I'm gonna heat this up just a little bit more. I just basically throw the plate in the microwave. Not throw, I don't know why throw is like one of my favorite words for place the plate in the microwave. And then we're gonna get to these 3 and get these sealed up so you guys can see what that looks like. And if you're using additional marshmallows, it's okay for them to pile up, marshmallows or whatever, to pile up on top of there, because you still have this whole empty space from this cavity to go that you can put over the top, and so it'll still hold it in. That's good. Now let's put this one on here. Now, because this is melting the chocolate around that edge, that is what's going to hold these together. You don't need any additional chocolate because you have enough here. And so we just place that on there and we go around and make sure that it's centered, there are no gaps, and that it's stuck down good. And I'll show you what to do to make sure that it's sealed. Basically, all I do is take my finger, run it across here, and place them around here on the edge to make sure that it's sealed up, because there is a little gap there. I could have maybe heated it on the plate a little longer and made sure there was no gap, but sometimes that distorts the shape of your hot chocolate bomb. So basically all I'm doing is taking a little bit of chocolate off the plate, that excess chocolate, and going around the edge, making sure that it's sealed up. And trying to do this as smoothly as possible, but it doesn't have to be super duper neat. Like, nobody's gonna hold that against you. They won't even really notice that. But you do try to make sure that it's as smooth as possible. And make sure that, like I said, that you don't have any gaps or holes or places where it's not sealed. We wanna make sure it's sealed. And so that's it for that one. It is completely sealed up. and it is ready to be decorated. So we'll go on to our next one, do the same exact thing. Let me wipe my hands off before it melts too much. Twirl it around a little bit on the plate. Make sure we get those rough edges off, and lift it. Grab one of these and place it on. Try to line it up, push it down a little bit. And that should have sealed the edge pretty good, but I do see over here a little gap. Let's see if you can see it on the camera. I'm not sure, but there is a little gap there where it's not 100% sealed right in here. So again, we're gonna take our finger and add a little more chocolate to that area and smooth it out. It's like a glue. There are people who take the chocolate and put it around this rim here and then use that to stick together like the chocolate out of the bowl. But I'm not doing all that. We're gonna just do it this way because we have this excess chocolate here that came off the top of these anyway, so may as well. And this method works really well for me, so I think that I would probably make a mess trying to just smooth some chocolate around there out of the bowl with my fingers. So that's 2 of them that are done, and we're down to our last one. So same thing as always. Smooth it around on the plate. Melt that chocolate up a little bit. And just try to lift it straight off. Place it straight on this one. And push it down just a little to try to get those edges sealed together. We're gonna do the same thing we did on the other 2 and take this and go around those edges to make sure that we have a good seal and smooth it out as we go. If you decide to do this and it's your first time, as with all crafts that you're trying, or even recipes, just give yourself a break. Don't be so hard on yourself. Don't judge yourself too hard. We are our own worst critics, and usually when we make things for people or we are using our creative juices, people end up loving it. You know, people are just happy that you've made them something. Even if you're doing this professionally, because it's a handmade item, it doesn't have to be perfect. Like, as I said, we are our own worst critics. These are gonna turn out beautiful. They look a little rough right now, but that's me being my own worst critic. And so that's our 3rd one, and it is all sealed. And so now that that's done, I am going to heat my chocolate up just a little bit and show you guys a quick decoration on one or a couple. So give me just a sec to heat the chocolate up. Rinse my hands off. All right. And I'm gonna move some of this stuff out of the way that we no longer need. Like that. Smooth this plate. And I'm actually gonna move this piece of parchment paper out of the way. Actually, I think I'm gonna use this again. Just use it differently this time. I'm all about reduce, reuse, and recycle. Reduce, reuse, and recycle. Let's see. Okay, yeah, that's good. So for this next step with the decorating, I am going to take some of this chocolate. I'm gonna put it in a regular sandwich bag to pipe some decorations on. So we got that. Let me grab some sprinkles or something to put on here. All right. So for decorating, you can use pretty much anything. I'm going to use a little of this sanding sugar, gold color sanding sugar. Some of these confetti sprinkles, and a couple of gold stars for this one. And just because I like it, gold is one of my favorite colors. So I'm gonna put those down there. Open the tops on these so that they'll be ready. And uh-oh, I didn't mean to put that many. You could definitely use tweezers for this part. I'm not, just because I don't have any right here on hand. Let me grab my plastic bag. And let me grab one of these white towels so that you guys can see how it looks on the white. All right. Okay, so like I said, I'm just gonna put some of that chocolate in this plastic bag. If I can, without making a mess. That's good enough. All right, so just like a little spoonful is enough. Try to squeeze some of the air out of the bag and twist it up a bit. You can use scissors for this, or you can do what I'm getting ready to do. I'm just gonna poke this with a toothpick. All right. So what happens is, because this is thin, when you put it on, it's gonna go pretty fast. Like, it'll set up pretty fast. So you gotta kind of be ready to go with your decoration stuff. Let's see. So basically I'm holding this kind of tight, applying a little bit of pressure, and I'm just gonna poke it with this toothpick. All right, I see it already kind of oozing out. And I'm just gonna take this in my hand, applying kind of firm pressure, and go across both of these. I got stuck somewhere. I got like a chunk or something in there, so we're gonna just, this is what they look like for now, but I'm gonna hurry up and put a couple of these little sprinkles and stuff on here. I'm just gonna drop them on here because I really don't have time. They'll set up if I don't hurry. So that's that. Let's drop our stars on. I don't want to do too much on there. All right, and then a little of the sand and sugar. All right, that was quite a bit of the sand and sugar, but then we'll shake that off. And that's how that one looks. Let's do the other one. Shake it off. And that's it. And so now you've decorated 2 of them. And it's pretty much just that easy. That's the process to hold them. I'll put them in some cupcake containers. Not containers, but the little muffin things. And these also came from Dollar Tree. The decoration stuff that I put on there, you can get at Walmart. You can get it at Michael's, in the baking department. All right, so that's that. And there it is in the little cupcake container. And that's it. And I'll do another video showing you how I actually box them up and make them look all pretty as a gift.